Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. We had such a great day today. I don't know, I think I see some faces. We were over at the headquarters area, the government area, doing blood pressures, and we took 50 blood pressures today. It was so wonderful to see everybody out there. I saw a lot of old friends who we ran into. And again, we just had such a great time. Thank you so much to our nurses who helped us. We certainly couldn't have done it without them. And it was actually sponsored by the Methodist Church. So again, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to switch over to my presentation just to give you a little idea of what we do, or what I do. So I work for the American Society of Hypertension. And what we do is we provide, not only do we provide information and education to our physicians, but we now have begun to provide education and information to lay people and patients. So one of my jobs, okay, so here's the American Society of Hypertension. We are the leading voice for high blood pressure in the United States. Again, we educate physicians, nurse practitioners, and other frontline providers, but now we've actually started educating individuals at the community level. And that's sort of how Dr. Fergus and I met. I actually run the American Society of Hypertension Community Outreach Program. And if you could go to the next slide. We actually build on other public health programs. We look at the community level, and we're trying to eliminate the racial and ethnic disparities in hypertension and cardiovascular diseases. As you will hear in a little bit when Dr. Fergus talks to you about hypertension, you'll know that there are definite racial disparities and ethnic disparities. And so what we're trying to do is eliminate those by reaching out at the community level to talk to the community and make them aware. Because that's what it comes down to. It's becoming aware of what can make you sick. And we actually made a commercial last year, and it said hypertension is the second most preventable cause of death. Which means we can, by doing certain things, by eating a certain way, by living a certain way, we can prevent high blood pressure. And honestly, wouldn't we all want to prevent something that would make us take medicine and just make us just feel better? And a lot of it has to do with real like lifestyle changes, exercise, eating correctly, not eating too much salt. I got to tell you guys, I have never heard, all right, I asked a question of everyone today, and the question was, do you eat mangoes? Well, I heard everything from, no, I don't eat mangoes, to, I eat a bucketful of mangoes. I was just so amazed, and I know how good mangoes taste, but a bucketful. It comes down to little things like that, by not eating that bucketful, by not eating that salt and the fried food. And it's just little things. We actually have a wonderful, wonderful guest speaker this evening who we met last year, and then we saw her again this year, and she just was so inspirational to even us. And she makes me want to be a better person. She really does. I can't wait till you guys meet her. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so we looked at outcomes, we looked at evaluations, and we looked at what the physicians, what the doctors were saying, and they were saying, we talk about it, we treat it, and there's something going on here. Patients aren't listening to us. They're not, their blood pressure isn't going down because they're not doing what we said. Well, okay, we've actually looked at it and we said, all right, well, you can take medicine, but lifestyle changes with medication will help you manage your hypertension, your cardiovascular, and your renal health. So again, we're looking at, okay, the doctor says you have to take medicine, you better take your medicine. But there's a lot of other things you can do. That you can walk these wonderful, wonderful hills. You can, again, watch your diet. There's so many things we can do to really prevent hypertension. Okay, next slide. Again, we're looking at awareness, treatment, management, control. Those are the 4 words, that's all you hear at ASH. Awareness, making people aware, coming out to the community level, coming out to the government offices today and taking 50 blood pressures, taking 20 blood pressures at Nadine's yesterday. On this Friday, we'll be back at the government offices and we'll be doing blood pressures again. So again, it's helping everyone learn about what they can do with blood pressure, how they can avoid it, how we can treat it, and manage it and control it. So let's skip all the rest of this. Basically, what I do, and I have a lot of fun doing it, and I do it with Dr. Fergus and Dr. Scobie, we go out and we do huge screenings. We do screenings for maybe 300 or 400 people in one day. We do blood pressures, we look at their glucose, we look at their cholesterol, and we help people understand what it is that we're talking about and what they need to do to prevent these high readings or these bad readings. The last 5 years, we've actually been to New Orleans, San Francisco, New York, Paterson, New Jersey, Long Island, and Queens, New York. We've done a lot of screenings. We've reached out to about 3,000 people. It's been a lot of fun, and I have to tell you, every single screening, we may screen 300 people, but it's that one person who we send to the hospital because they're showing signs that their body is saying something's wrong. And because they've come to our screening, we've probably saved them. When Dr. Fergus was with me in Paterson last year, there was a young man. He had 4 children. It was really sad. He had 4 children. His wife had died in childbirth, and he was complaining that his chest was tight and he couldn't breathe right and his head hurt and he had numbness, and he just started with this whole litany of issues. This man was in really bad shape, and because we were there and we found him, we sent him to the hospital. We saved 4 children from becoming orphans. So again, it's the 300 that we look at, but really it's that one person that we save at every event. When I get back to New York, I actually have something really, really amazing to look forward to. Hopefully, as long as I can come up with something silly and little called money, we can screen 15,000 people in one afternoon. It's just going to be amazing. We're going to bring all of our equipment, and we're going to give our pamphlets out, and we're going to talk about hypertension and lifestyle changes, and hopefully, like we talked today, everyone, about how many mangoes do you eat? Well, how much salt do you put on your burger, and how much red meat do you eat, and do you get that exercise that you need to get? So that's basically what I do. That's my job. It's a lot of fun. As I told Dr. Fergus last year after I left Montserrat, I cried for 3 days. I really didn't want to go home. I fell in love. I fell in love with this wonderful country of yours, and I'm so thrilled to be back. And hopefully, there'll be many, many more years of us coming back.